Hello, Todd Clemens, Okeechobee Livestock Market, and here is your weekly market report, live from outside of Okeechobee Livestock Market facility. We've got a few workers coming by. We're replacing a roof here. The other one was about to fall down. It only been there for about 80 years. So we're getting some things taken care of around here. And it was a really good week here at the livestock market. Prices Monday and Tuesday were even higher. We've been saying that. It sounds like a broken record, but this is the third week in a row that cows and calves both have been higher. We had some calves that finally we've been asking for that $3 500-pound steer calf, and we finally got it yesterday. 600-pound calves are bringing up around, we had some of them bring 250. 5-weight calves are bringing up there in the mid to upper $2 range, 260 to 270. 4-weight calves are bringing over $3, and the 3-weight calves are bringing $4. So those cattle are bringing the steers. This is the number ones, but they're bringing $1,200 to $1,300 for these little calves. So demand is good. Again, it's a weather market on the slaughter cows and bulls. A lot of the parts of the country you just can't get to. Can't get them to town because of the snow and the bad weather conditions. So in South Florida, we're able to run and move and go like nothing. Nothing's the problem. We got a little bit of rain clouds out here. We may get a shower or two, but it's in the 70s. As you can see, it's green around here, no frost, good conditions, and cattle are coming to town. I don't know when we're going to ever run out of cows. They just keep bringing them in. And these cows are up there over $1.10 to $15, some of them $1.18 to maybe $1.20 on some of the better killing cows. And bulls are just crazy. They're up there around $1.25 to $30. You'll get a few bulls, outstanding bulls, that are up there to 18 to 2,000 pounds that are bringing $1.35 or close to $1.40. So prices are high, and I would expect for the cow and bull market to level off. I can't see it going any higher than that. To me, it's crazy. So it's a weather market, and I think when the weather settles down and things cool off and all the parts of the country open back up, that the cows and bulls, the slaughter prices are probably going to come back down a little bit. But as far as the calf market goes, demand is good. Futures board is good. I guess they're trading fat cattle for a little bit higher, maybe $1.75 or $6 this week, which would be steady to $1 higher than what it was last week. And leave it to the packer to find somehow to manipulate or manage their inventory around them. When inventory is low in the feedlots, you'd think that packers would be out there really trying to buy up a bunch of supply, but there's so many cattle being traded on the formulas and on the grid that not negotiated prices. A few years back, we kept talking about Chuck Grassley's the bill that they had introduced there in Washington about the 30-14 rule or the 50-14 rule, where 30% or 50% or some percentage of cattle need to be bought on a negotiated price, and they couldn't buy up more than a certain amount past a 14-day delivery point. Well, packers have purchased up a good supply of cattle. They've got them stacked around them, so where they can pick and choose how many they want to kill. The processing of these cattle has slowed down, and they're not killing as many as they had before, which just kind of backs up supply in the feedlots. Makes even the carcass weights higher. But right now, carcass weights are going down because of the conditions out there in Kansas and Colorado and all those places where those feedlots are. These cattle aren't gaining like they would have been gaining under normal good feeding conditions, so carcass weights have fallen off. But there's a big supply of cattle that's kind of just getting backed up, and so packers are able, not to have to add more price to the cattle they're buying. They're able to manage that. So that was a kind of even a good point of why maybe we should relook at that 3014 bill again to keep that percentage of negotiated cash trade out there. It's just hardly any enough amount of negotiated cash prices that we can even set a market to it. So that's kind of what's going on. But still, numbers are down. The cattle on feed report that came out last week we talked about was not too one way or the other. It was kind of right in the middle of what people had expected. There were more cattle marketed and a few more cattle placed than what they thought. But all in all, we're going into a time of the year where there's going to be fewer cattle placed into the feedlots, and it should kind of stay in our favor. As a cattle producer, it should stay in our favor. And these prices on these calves are looking pretty good because there's been a lot of moisture out west. Grazing country, winter pasture country's all got some good moisture. And there's people wanting to get these cattle out there and get them turned out where they can make a little bit of money on them, hopefully. We've got the NCBA convention coming up in Orlando, February the 2nd, I believe it is, and that would be next week. And that's in Orlando, and there is one thing that was brought to my attention was this animal disease traceability, ADT. You'll see those initials and you may hear more about it, or you need to stay posted and try to figure out what's going on there, because NCBA, who claims to be the voice of the cattle industry, and they do have a certain amount of members that are in the NCBA. I'm a member of NCBA, but there's policies being made that NCBA support, and they're bringing these proposals to the USDA and working out a plan to get all cattle that are adult age cattle, that's cows and bulls, anything over 18 months old, to have this electronic ID. It's animal disease traceability, so they can try to keep us from getting into some kind of catastrophic animal disease. You know, so far, as long as I've been alive, if there's been a cow with a disease, mad cow or brucellosis or whatever it might be, we've found them. We can trace them pretty good the way it is. And the ones that are getting traced, the cattle that are traced, come through livestock markets. They come through a facility like ours that have to track cattle. We have to track them coming in and track them going out, and those records are sent into the state, into the USDA, so they know where these cattle are coming from and where they're going. Now that's only about, I'd say 50% of the calves that are raised in Florida, roughly, go through a livestock market or facility like ours. The rest of them are sold private treaty, internet sales, direct sales to dealers or order buyers. I don't know if those cattle are being tracked or traced, or if they know anything about them. So I do know that cattle, or the livestock markets, are the ones that are catching the brunt of all the responsibility of the paperwork and the turning in and submitting the forms and all that. So there's a big, to me, it's a controversial issue, trying to mandate an animal disease traceability program mandated when only there's a few certain select people that are making up these rules. You probably don't know about it. But this stuff is coming down the pike, so learn what's going on, or stay abreast of what's going on. And I'm not saying one thing or the other, good or bad, about any of the industry spokespeople for us. NCBA, United States Cattlemen's Association does a good job. OCM does a good job. All these people are helping cattle producers try to stay in business. And there's some, some do some of this and some of that, and you may agree with this or may not, but everybody's trying to work together to make things better for the producer and for the ranchers. So that's in Orlando this week, and then next week, after that, the Florida Association of Livestock Markets is having their annual meeting in Gainesville, and it doesn't take a big room to put us in anymore. There's only, I think, 6 of us, But we will get together and we'll talk about these issues, and if you want to know more about it, just stay tuned, because we're going to learn what's coming down the pike. Producers Cattle Auction is having their next sale February the 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. There's some good weaned calves, good South Florida calves on that sale, and that will be February the 8th. That's a Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I guess that's about it, but I want to tell you some prices that we had here this week at Okeechobee Livestock Market. On the calf prices, the top price of the week was from Circle P Bar Ranch. Willard Palmer, Palm Bay, topped the calf market with a 200-pound calf that brought $4.80. And that calf was bought by Oak Lake. On the slaughter cow side, the AAA Pig Farm, yes, Pig Farm, AAA Pig Farm from Clewiston, had a 1,280-pound cow that brought $1.26. And that cow was bought by Cargill. That's your market report. Stay tuned. Stay up with us, and we'll report back next week and tell you what we learned after the convention, and we'll keep you abreast of what's going on. Thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We'll keep the reports coming out to you. We appreciate your business. See you next week.